Hey everybody, good morning. My name is Ryan Selvey. I'm very excited to be joined by Zipeng Zhu, and we are going to be looking at doing what you love. So, good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I mean, it is a little gloomy here in New York City.
Very gloomy.
So it's not the cutest day, but I'm glad that it is not worse.
Yes. Well, yours looks a lot. Your screen looks a lot more happy and sun soaked. I look a little bit more like what it looks like outside right now. It's very gray, very gross. But we're gonna have very happy, cool vibes today on the stream. We're really excited to have you here for the next hour or so. For anyone who's not familiar with your work, would you mind giving a quick introduction as to what you like to do?
Of course. So my name is Zipeng Zhu, and I am an artist, designer, also the founder of the creative studio Dazzle. I want to make every day a razzle-dazzle musical, which means just jazz hands at all places at all times. Um, I live in New York City for the past 17 years, so it's been a very interesting journey from coming from China, born and raised 18 years now. It's approaching almost the same exact amount of time to
Oh, that's
split my life
exciting.
in half. Yeah, it's very, very interesting to live in both country and then to grew up in both countries. Like it's like such a unique and crazy drastic contrast of experience. But then meanwhile, I think because of that, it really gave me this um, interesting understanding of culture and language, which I use a lot in my work.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna pull up your I think you have your Instagram pulled up here, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, here we go. And so using lots of language, mostly English, right?
Mostly English, but I'm perfectly fluent in Mandarin. I speak actually three kinds of like Mandarin, or three kinds of Chinese. I speak Mandarin, Cantonese, and a local Shanghainese dialect. So it's like it's a lot. But what I think something I like people to basically walk away from seeing my work is either my work will leave a little smile on their face, or they can feel a little bit jazzed up, like like having like a cup of espresso afterwards to feel motivated and energized to either to go do something, to make something, or just to be a little bit more uh unapologetically themselves.
Yeah, and you speak to that through color, through large, intense shapes, radiating, kind of having between vibrating colors a lot. You know, your love is love here. I actually had seen your work before with both of those. That actually dead in the middle right now. Actually, both the Gov Ball and Pride were two things that I saw way before I knew who you were. And I remember I think I even have the Pride one saved as like in my inspiration folder because they're just so beautiful and cool. I also like gradients, but I love how much you play with color and also how much you play with the idea of having everything like melt into each other, and then you also find a lot of success in making that strong divide between colors to have them side by side and then have them interact with one another, which is really cool. So it's really cool to see you experiment with type and experiment with shape. What got you into working on something so graphically focused?
So when I was a child, I was forbidden to really study or learn art because my dad was a struggling artist. He was a professionally trained oil painter. So
Do you paint?
I would say irony led me into the world of manga. So I really was so dead set trying to become a, cartoonist to draw manga to make anime basically. But then, after 3 years of working really, really hard at trying to just even draw a simple character, I have to face my life's first, true like realization is I have no skills of drawing at all whatsoever. Therefore, I turned like the skill, like when I was doing that, I picked up Photoshop along the way. That's just like, a companion application at the time. So from that, I basically started to do a lot of Photoshop for my friends, to for school posters and stuff. So that was the moment one of my art teachers saw the work that I've been doing. It's like, oh, maybe this is something that you could be interested in graphic design, which is, you can make a living by making posters, which is not true, but that's okay. It worked out for me nevertheless.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I basically low key got bamboozled into coming into America to study, graphic design, but luckily everything
I'm
worked
gonna say
out.
I'm thankful that you did. I know you say you feel like you kind of got bamboozled, but your work is so awesome. I think that you're doing a lot of really cool things. And it's led you to at least here, where we're going to be talking today a little bit about doing what you love and how you've made it work. So, what are we working on today?
So we are going to take a little look back at one of the piece that I created for Adobe. I was commissioned by Adobe. Is this "Do What You Love" poster?
Yeah.
What I love about this project was you don't often get an open brief from a client, first of all, and then you
Hmm.
don't often get an open brief from a um, big tech giant, I would say. I mean, even though Adobe, yes, is for creativity, like I think often there is a very specific parameters. And I think when I get an open brief, it's exciting and terrifying at the same time because now what do I do?
Yeah.
And what I want to actually show everyone a little bit is that like how an idea basically is formed, but then how that can sort of have a lifespan on its own journey, basically to made
Yeah.
it to what's in front of everyone, like right here, right now. So I actually do want to show everyone the previous design, like the
Yeah.
my initial pitch was
Ooh,
basically
got some
this.
dots.
So I felt like there are some very intricate, um, lack of a contrast between
Mm-hmm.
the foreground and the background, which I think it's quite dreamy. Like I feel like I'm inside of a blurry, like stop motion photo almost. It's like I feel like inside of a memory when I look at this.
Yeah.
And that's something that I got very, very excited about because I feel like every time I can trigger like a emotional response from me myself when I look at the work, I often feel like that's a good sign because that means like, okay, there is something that is potentially could be not relatable per se, but like there's something emotional, there's something human, there's something like triggers the more tender, softer side of us when they experience the work. Then that is the time that I get very, very excited because I think graphic design sometimes can come across quite utilitarian or quite cold. And
Yes.
I do not want to do that ever because for me to give up my life, move to a new country, learn languages, learn skills, and then to not do what I want to do, that would be devastating.
Yes. I feel like it's
And
taking away a part of you and taking a part of like your identity in that sense.
yeah, and especially like, in the creative field, I think all of us have definitely spent like endless nights staying up just to work on things that we are excited about and the thing that we truly love, and that's why we um get to do what we do now, right? Like I think it's like to take that leap of faith to really believe in the thing that you're passionate about is the thing that basically can um, give you a career or provide a living, and also it's like creatively, spiritually, emotionally fulfilling, right? So
Yeah.
I think all that also to say is this is what got me really, really excited. at first when I create this. And then when I showed it to the team, I think the main concern was the legibility and the sort of the readability of it all, because we
Yeah,
want to
maybe
make
that
sure the
Y kind of disappears a little bit into the gradient there.
exactly.
Um,
So that's where we went to like the some of the older
and I know that
iteration that actually
typeface. I know it. It's Jal Zesty something, Jalmi something. It's something
I
with a
can tell
Z.
you in 1 second. Come on.
But I've always wanted to use it for something, and I always talk myself out of it because I'm always like, I like it so much. I'm always like, oh, this is gonna work.
It's called
Veltziland, that's what it is. I knew it was like
Valkyland.
something towards the end of the alphabet because it's always at
Yes.
the bottom of when I'm scrolling through fonts.
Yeah. So basically, this is gonna sound maybe sad. It depends on who you ask, I guess. I like to do what I called type window shopping. Like I would just go
Hmm.
on Adobe Font sometimes just to browse and to see what's weird and what's interesting. And I often have, like I have like I think like 6,000 activated type
Yep,
from the
add them all.
library.
Give them all to me. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like I'm an only child, so I'm very spoiled. I want everything and they're all mine. So, but when I saw this, I was like, oh, I need to find a place to use this.
Yeah.
And
Why would that
this
be sad?
was
That sounds wonderful.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. No, no. Well, I mean, I think spending like I think type window shopping is a definitely a nerdier hobby than, the majority of the humanity like to partake. I think. But I
They're
mean,
not
not sad
living.
for
It's
me, but
fine.
I'm just saying like depends on who you ask.
Right.
I mean, I'm living my life, so I don't really care. But that's to say is so this is where we basically started the idea.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I have this very, abstract and atmospheric, almost feel like aura, energy field, gradient in the background. How can I have the foreground to provide a um complement in terms of vibe, but then contrast in terms of the looks because we do want the type to stand out,
Yes.
after the note that we got from the previous design. So I was like, okay, then let's maybe do a black type on this colorful background. And then this typeface just sort of came into my head is because it has this sort of like dimensionality to it that I find it quite exciting.
Yes.
And it's like this like trippy 2D, 3D vibes, and it's very like also distorted at the same time. I like a, italic, like super italic, tilted, oblique type. There's so much drama in this. I find it very, very exciting.
Yeah.
So, but when I put this on the page, I feel like there's something clashing, not in a good way, in the sense that I think right now they're so apart, like they're not on the same plane. So what I decided to try next was to have the pattern to basically leak through the type.
And is this like with a
And
mat? Are you just taking kind of a mat and brushing it out, or are you
oh,
bringing
we can
more
go
color on
into
top?
it. I mean, so my usual like approach is to never touch the original layer if possible. Like I like to keep
Mm-hmm.
everything editable and everything sort of as smart objects. So for this one is I actually did a another layer of the gradient background, but I just added a mask on top of that. So
Great.
whatever that I want to reveal, I just drew it on top of it to therefore I can also control the exact, you know, um field that's being revealed, right? So
Yeah.
that is quite crucial. And then yeah, so but
And
then
taking
yeah.
a quick look at some of those things that you've added to these, you have some smart filters on top of the type. We have things like adding noise, a Gaussian blur, which obviously is giving some of that distortion. You have an invert on there. Why do you have an invert?
I have a reason and I can tell you why.
Oh, because you
Because
had it in white.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
think because in originally in my head, this would look really nice with the white type on the background, but
right.
like clearly that did not happen. And then I was just like my little brain is like, invert is just one keyboard away,
Yeah.
Command I, whereas like going back into the smart object and do all that, I just sometimes I pick the lazier route, forgive me. Um, but I think that's sort of like my usual approach is like I think there's plenty different ways to get to Rome, but like which one is like the least effort and the fastest
The
is the
path
one
of
that
least
I'm going to
resistance,
go with.
right?
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, hey,
also,
I work fast so I can procrastinate, you know?
exactly. This is a live stream after all, so we have Sean, Cody, Dino, all saying hello in the chat. If you guys have any questions or comments as we go on, please let us know. I did start up a poll for the chat to hear what you guys think. I'm asking, do you window shop for fonts in your free time? And then that way we can kind of revisit that and see the fun things that people have found. If I were to vote on it, it would be a yes. So I'm interested to see kind of what the general public is saying. But
And
yeah,
I
if you guys
want
have
to add
questions, let us
maybe
know.
like a follow-up question is when? When do you do the window shopping? Because like I like to find myself like maybe 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. I'm just like deep in on, fonts.adobe.com.
So nice and
Truly,
delirious.
actually, I'm a night owl, so this is
Me too.
actually when I just start to shine. So when I'm at my prime is when I shop, basically.
What time did
I
you go to bed last night?
uh 4?
Oh, okay, all right. So we're kind of similar. I went to bed like a little bit before 3. Uh, and
Yeah,
I was like, I have a stream tomorrow. I have to da 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 da. But okay, cool.
yeah.
We're on the same level then.
We are actually quite rare because I think the world is quite cruel towards the
They
nocturnal
are.
people. Yeah,
And I
there's
didn't
like,
start doing well in school until college. I mean, I did okay in school, whatever. But I did really well in college once I could pick night classes and I could be like, cool. I wake up after lunch. So like
yeah,
uh it is best for me to be able to have something. And then like then I did all my homework super late at night and then I'd sleep in and then get up and go to class while everyone was getting back from class.
yeah.
Um
I mean,
but
I went to art school in New York City, so like, fortunately for me, all the classes are at night most of the time because the teacher
oh
are
yeah.
full-time working somewhere else.
Which school did you
Um,
go to?
School of Visual Arts.
Oh, you went to SVA. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a really cool book from
Now,
them.
now I teach
Where it's
there.
like heat sensitive on the front of it. I always tell people about it. It's really cool. But did you like
Wait,
SVA?
what?
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if I would have to run away from my camera at some point. Maybe at some point I'll grab it. But it
Okay.
was like it heat sensitive. So you go and you have to rub the front of it really hard, and then like after you do that, then it like reveals SVA, and it's like such a cool book.
Huh.
Big fan.
Oh, oh yeah. I mean, when it comes to the books, I think my school really have that, lockdown. Like the designers that get charged with that project is always the best in the biz.
Yeah, they
So
gotta be. They're
like,
New York, baby.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, I think for me, like the cool thing about like going to school in New York is like you really get to like live and bathe in the city. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have a campus, which is a bummer, but like meanwhile, the city is your campus is kind of cool, like just like one step removed from, um working, living in the city, Like, I mean, it's not the same, but it's definitely a lot like what's the word? Obstructions removed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Anyway,
it's quieter and everything is kind of like you can kind of hone in. I'm
yeah.
seeing P Dub in the chat. Welcome to the chat, saying I usually window shop while I'm working on a project, and then I just get distracted and I just window shop. Yeah, which is very true.
I know.
Um,
It's like a rabbit hole that you can really get lost yourself. And then like what I also do, because I am the type of nerd, is like if I see one type is good and I see another one, like that's by the same person, and now this is the time for me to take a deep dive into this person with this foundry, like I have discovered so many incredible typographer from that.
yeah, when you
And I
find a good one, you find a good one. Normally, I'm like, oh wow, you are not a one hit wonder. You consistently. I just want to use your entire catalog.
yeah.
For
I
me,
mean,
that it comes to mind immediately. I like the Hoodspur girlies, and then I also like Ono type a lot. And they're
I
both on
mean,
Adobe
we
fonts.
love James. I mean, James Edmondson is truly one of the greatest type person ever,
Yeah,
period.
big thumbs up from me at least.
I mean,
Um,
good vibes, just a prolific level of output.
hmm
He makes type so fast is terrifying.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. Would you ever
Yeah.
make your own type?
Actually, I have made many.
Nice.
So when I was at school, that was the struggle that I have. I was like spending too much time trying to find type that to fit my project. I basically got fed up. I just started to do everything my
You're like, I'll
own.
just do it. If I can't find it, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, which is that landed me the job at a fancy design agency right after graduated to do lots of branding with custom typography. And and that was always like something that I feel very passionate and very close to my interests. And
hmm
then as time went on, I definitely feel like the functioning typeface is lesser of my interest, but then create something that's like a unique typographic experience is something that I got more drawn to. And then so it's a lot of, custom logos, bespoke murals, and unique packaging, like all of I actually have one here that I made. I don't know if you can see.
Oh, okay, let me make it you bigger real quick so that people can see it.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. All right. Ba, 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 ba.
Like,
Spicy. Oh, look at that. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Is this for that's not feast or whatever, right?
this is similar. I guess it's low-key Hot Ones inspired, but
Uh-huh.
this is actually a studio promotional gift I gave to all of my clients.
Oh,
So I
that's
teamed
so
up with
cool.
my friend
Can I get on
Jeremy
that mailing
Nicole
list,
from
please?
yeah, sure. Me and my friend Jeremy, we decided to join forces to create this like custom box and
Yeah.
custom sauce, basically using his type and then my design. I don't have the bottles here, but it's
But I
online. You
love
can
the
you
inside
can
of it. I love the texture the type creates, and then also the vibrating lines once you get on the inside too. Um,
and what's cool is it's continue. It's like one.
oh wow, so it's even like layered and it's kind of like built in. Now,
Yeah.
did you outsource someone to then assemble all of them, or did you just have like an assembly day where you had to bring all the boxes together and fold
Uh,
them up?
We have actually, so we have someone who is like a hot sauce maker.
hmm
So we basically ship them all of the boxes. So
And then
they
they
are the one that
assembled,
put
and then
them
that
together.
way
Yeah,
you didn't
yeah,
have to do it because that's always the thing. Like we're talking to Tyler Pate, and he does these awesome talks where he's like giving things out and putting it on every chair. But we were talking to him. I was like, dude, you can't be assembling all these by yourself. Like you're already doing the design and you're already doing the planning for the talk. Like the assembly is a whole nother thing. Like and you know we're particular because we're designers, but there's also just that idea of like, yeah, there's only a finite amount of time in any day. Uh, so I'm always curious about stuff like that. But anyway, I keep
yeah.
distracting you from you're doing what you love. I'm also seeing, as far as the chat goes, 71% of viewers right now said they do Windows Shop fonts in their free time. So you are among friends. You said it's a
Yeah.
sad thing, but
Thank you
you are
for
among
making me
friends.
feel less alone.
Yeah.
And so to get back to what we were talking about previously, is like looking at this um design, one, I feel like it's achieving some of the sort of like blending, but it feels a little bit forced because like
hmm
how the colors are, intertwining with the type. And then it just dawned on me that like maybe what I can do is to take advantage of the shape of the letters um and then use that to my advantage.
Yeah.
So if you look at the type without the distortion, like this distortion, let's see this in.
Oh, it even has a stroke to
So
it too.
yeah, that's why I did the invert instead of, because there's just too many things for me to shift. What I can
hmm
do here is I'm gonna do okay. So when I look at this, one, I see this like sort of typography going into distance, sort of, and
Hmm.
then meanwhile it has this sort of flag like or like ladder or stair like quality to it. So I thought to myself, maybe the way to utilize the form of the type is to add like a tilt shift, which is one of my favorite effect from the blur gallery. It's
Hmm.
this effect that basically shows you, let me see, you can, so basically what you do is you have your typeface, let's say this one, for
You
example.
kind of turned it into like a smart object, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna turn into a smart object first, convert to smart object, and
Also,
then
Sean
let's do
says,
it
"Who
in,
cares? Just do what you love." That's what we're talking about. That's
yeah.
exactly what we're talking about today.
Yeah. So So what we do here is like, I can drag them up a little bit. And then we will get to the background. Don't worry. I will not let you hang in with the background.
All
So
good. Don't
what
worry.
I love about the um, tilt shift is this very unique tool that showcase how something can look. Like if you look at the edges, like it
Hmm.
has this very dramatic and very like gradient like graduation of blur that I find very, very exciting and very, very beautiful.
Yep.
And with that, I can really play with like which part I want to showcase more and what I want to show less. So I can just play with some of these parameters so I can make sure only the very small corner of the type is being, blurred out. So
Right.
it's not like everything is being distorted, so you cannot read what it is. But also, on the other hand, it gave us this automatic visual focus to the center of the graphic, which
Yeah.
is
Automatically
what,
leading the eye.
yeah, because tilt shift is basically taking the idea of a micro photography. When you have like, very very close up shots, like the foreground and the backgrounds get blurred out because the what's it called, the focus, like the aperture,
Aperture. Yep.
right? Yeah, is so dramatic. So you will create this automatic focus. But then when I was looking at this, it's like, okay, now we need to do a few things to put these layers feel like they're more together. So,
Yeah.
for example, I think we need to add a tiny little blur on the regular edges. Like we can just do maybe like a 2.5 or something. Oh, by the way, since we're here among friends, like, are you the type of person that always liked a rounded, like significant, like a 2.5, 5, 10,
Oh,
or like a 2.4,
I have
A6?
no allegiance, which is crazy. I
Wow.
know that people are like, "Oh, it has to be like an even number." Da, da, da. I'm like, no, I am fully visual, like whipping that slider back and forth to just like get to a completely proprietary number.
That
Um,
is so interesting to me because I am the exact opposite.
yeah,
But what I basically am able to, I would say, harness is like my very high math skills from back home. Like
uh,
I basically come up with like this ratio of charts like in my brain of
right.
what looks good with what. So I can just like multiply them ups and downs and make that always work for me.
I'm gonna
So
end our poll for window shopping, and I'm actually gonna switch that out now to a new one, where I'm gonna say, "Do you work in whole numbers?" Because I love the idea of you having these ratios and these like Fibonacci sequence, like just like running in the back of your brain while you're messing with the
yeah,
Gaussian blur.
100%. So like I actually think like the fact that Americans are using inches is like actually to my personal preference heaven because everything divided by 12 is the
That's a
most.
hot take. That might be like one of the craziest things I've ever heard on stream before.
So
That
let me
Americans
break it
using inches
down.
is good.
Let me break it down to you. The reason why it's because 12 is the smallest number possible has the most number of divisions.
Okay.
So 12 can be divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12,
Hmm.
which is
Well,
so many options that I can cut a thing,
yeah.
which makes my like life as a designer when it works in a print column a lot easier, and then as an animator, like in like 24 frames per second, like that
Hmm.
24 frame is so beautiful in
Because it's
my
malleable. You have
yeah.
you have more places where you can adjust it and make decisions and still have that organization and working in modularity kind of.
Exactly. And then also, I think the another beauty is like when I go up a notch to take it to 60 frames per second, like the 24 frames are like not being sacrificed too much because everything can
Hmm.
still, sort of scale, relatively speaking. So what
No,
I
that's a
did
great point.
here, I just added a little bit noise to sort of match it with the background a little bit. And then last but not least, I will turn the layer to dissolve to give this a more solid particle vibes
Yeah.
instead of soft particle. And that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go to show everyone how to make the background right now. But if there's any questions like
I
about
have one
the
last
form,
question before we hop onto the
yeah,
background. I'm very excited
yeah.
about the background. We are a little bit halfway through, by the way. But with the noise filter, are you doing probably um, monochromatic noise, right?
I think it depends on my mood, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, yes, because I want to make a drastic difference between the foreground and the background. Like I want the front to almost look like a washed out gray, like a
Okay.
charcoal versus black per se. And I think when it's what you call it, when it's non-mono, it
Mm-hmm.
sometimes becomes this like greenish looking gray
Kind of
that
like a
I
TV kind of.
yeah, which I like slightly less, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's the only thing. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about any of the type in the foreground here, please let us know in the chat. It's looking right now that 20% of viewers work in whole numbers and 80% don't. So I am among friends. You are among
Right.
strangers.
I mean, I definitely know it's a me problem. It's like
I don't even know if it's
it's
a
it
problem. I
was
think obviously it works well for your work. I think that the 12 call out is something that I'm really going to carry with me because I've known of doing columns in print design into 12, but I never have really thought about how many times it is like the lowest number with a lot of divisible parts,
yeah.
which is smart.
Um Also, not to sound too psychotic, like in China, we have a game that everyone plays, like literally every single one plays, is you take a deck of cards, you put random four cards on the table, and then you're
Hmm.
trying to calculate into the number 24. That's the game.
Oh,
And this is
wow.
how we spend casual time with each
Yeah,
other.
you're doing
So,
crazy math like just as
yeah.
part of the hobby. Which I mean
So
that's probably works well for you as far as especially crunching numbers in your head.
yeah,
For
I'm
sure.
very good at doing like group dinner receipts.
That's so funny.
It's my
Uh,
talent, actually. Okay, so I'm gonna show everyone two ways to make this background. So I'm gonna show the hard way first, which is truly a very, very time-consuming task, but it's also very, very rewarding. So
okay.
this is what the background was
And we
in
hopped over
Illustrator.
to Illustrator. I had switched screens while we were doing that, but
Okay.
yeah, we're now in Illustrator, and so we're working in vectors now rather than kind of rasterized, uh, destructive stuff.
Yes, because I do find this is the beauty of vector is that it can blend color slightly more um fluidly.
Hmm.
It has more liberty when it comes to blend because it's infinite, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna draw a simple good old-fashioned square in the middle. And this one, like, don't get me wrong, like you look at this, it's so beautiful, but it's like a very complex mesh altogether. So we're
Yeah.
gonna make a slightly simpler mesh today. So what we do is we take the mesh tool, and like this is truly the time I would just say go nuts. Like however you want to do certain things, just go ahead, don't care. Because what we're gonna do is to select a bunch of them.
And you're just starting to assign different colors to the different mesh from that mesh tool that we have on the left
Yeah.
in Illustrator.
But then, in the middle, sometimes you can be playful. or vice versa. You can maybe do this one into the lighter blue and then this into the green, and then you can do the yellow. Like you can play with the combinations of the color quite a bit when it
Hmm.
comes to mesh, which I think that's the beauty of it. And what I'm gonna show you another thing that I've been um sort of toying with is the generative recolor tool.
Yeah.
All that is very, very fun and exciting. So I'm just gonna do quickly a
And as you're
few
picking these
different.
out, I know like actually, I may this might be answering my question just as I'm starting to ask it. But I know you're pulling from recent colors, but we also have our RGB sliders here. Is there a kind of set of colors that you tend to revisit, like that are specific hues or like hex codes, or that you have in swatches, or do you normally just eyeball it and then kind of work backwards from there?
I don't think you have heard me from my previous take. I do not have a random number ever. Like
Ever? Okay.
this is driving me absolutely insane. Like usually I would just do this too. Ah, like I'm psychotic. But what I have is a in my color palette, I actually usually just work with five main primary colors, and then I from that I will iterate into a little bit more. So I have a warm red, which you see here, more or
Hmm.
less. Not exact that hex code, but like similar. I often have a yolk. It's like a warm-ish yellow. Like this is warmer than my usually take. I would say like my usual is probably like something like this. Um, so I can add this here. Like this is my usual go-to yellow. And then I always have a Kelly green, one of
Kelly
my
green's my favorite.
fave. And then I always have a electric blue, which this is a slightly darker color, but like, usually it's very, very saturated.
Yeah, that's
Um,
that blue is having a moment right now.
that
Seeing a
blue
lot
is
of
not
different
gonna go
design.
away ever since we're gonna just stay in the digital world.
Yeah,
So I feel like if you don't like it, gotta get used to it. Sorry,
get
buddy.
off the computer. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, actually, funny enough, it actually came from Eve Klein Blue, right? Like this is the
Hmm.
closest that the computer have with the actual, pigment that is
Hmm.
so world renowned. I mean, I know the origin stories are not exactly the same, but like the color, it's very, very similar. And not to mention like the feeling that it gives to people. Okay, so we're sort of in a relatively okay place right now. Like we have this sort of multicolor stuff going on. Like if you want, we can just add a few more here and there, bip and bob, and then boop,
It's
boop,
feeling
boop,
very
boop.
like I don't know, light and airy.
Yeah.
Kind
Like
of.
this is already giving us a lot of like sort of like poetry vibes or
Hmm.
memory vibes. Like it's very soft, it's very like, elegant and dreamy. So what we are gonna do right now is literally just take the points and then start to mess with them.
Hmm.
I just usually go absolutely bananas. This is when I let loose, I would say.
Yeah.
Like all of the control that I was exercising earlier, and then this is when I start to go a little bit crazy because
So
I
you have the
want to
freedom.
really provide this beautiful dynamic energy that I am trying to portray. So if I am not going crazy, this graphic will not give me the same energy that I am looking for.
And you're not working any filter right now or anything. You're just using the direct selection tool and selecting different vertices that are tied to different colors that we just assigned, and they're just blending with one another as you drag them around.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of the mesh tool that I feel like maybe this is like my secret sauce that hasn't really been like, talked that often. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I just feel like there's different ways to use tools, and I think often people use this to blend, but I
Yep.
use this to actually contrast, right? Like, I get to play with the edges to really create some of these sharper corners, whereas some other ones could be softer, blended more like better together. So,
Hmm.
like by now, more or less, we are somewhat blended, like that's pretty fun and pretty playful already. If you want, like you can always like what I like to do sometimes is I just will make a copy and paste of this. I can either throw a uh warp on top of it.
Envelope
Like,
distort and go to
not
warp.
this one. I usually do this within I either do a wave or I
Mm-hmm.
can do a twist. So to
Mm-hmm.
just add like another level of like drama into this,
Have like
depends on the
extra
mood, obviously.
distortion that is
Yeah.
on top of your already kind of like handmade distortion.
Right. So basically, I think the way that I see everything is like sort of like building a sandwich or like I don't know like any flavor. It's like
Yeah.
you need to do it layer by layer, process by process, because then it becomes more and more intricate and complicated. So like the original source is not that easy to be revealed. Like you
Yep.
want to create something that is like visually satisfying. It's not like people say, "Oh, I can do this," in my sleep sort of thing.
Yep.
Um, but then I think sometimes I would do this is to just go into the recolor artwork panel. I either just like play around the built-in like random tool to see if there's other solutions out there that might surprise me.
Yep.
Like I find this quite beautiful. It's just different ways to
Wow.
express like, things. And then all of a sudden I have, like two similar but different vibe,
You have
backgrounds
variants
that I want.
to something
Yeah,
that is still there, and if you wanted to make it like a diptych, or you wanted to
exactly.
create some
Like
sort of series, that might really help make that a little bit easier.
like if this I throw a the store on top of it, it's a brand new graphic basically.
Yeah. And it's cool to see this too because in my experience, there's also the gradient tool itself where you can have a few points where you can click, but the blending of it is not going to have that same like warped edge as this is going to have. And I think that when you have this warped edge, my brain is telling me there's depth in places that there really technically is no depth. But
Like if you look at this zoom in, like, it really feels like you're inside of a smoke machine or like a dream realm. Like like this is could
mm-hmm,
be clouds, could be fog, could be whatever. But it's just like there is like the tangibility and the volume to it that I think simply Blur cannot achieve.
exactly,
Um,
yep.
yeah. So and what you do afterwards is to put this in.
And so yeah, you're bringing this into Photoshop and it's still very smooth. So we have that
Very
noise filter and that dissolve, and it's existing on top of this gradient. And in your final piece, I know that we get to kind of a point where it feels a little bit more cohesive.
Yeah, so what we
But
do is I would usually add like a slightly bigger blur on there.
that whole
And
25.
then when it's being blurred, the color will be inevitably muted a little bit because the brighter are being, less saturated, blended into others, right? So I usually bring it back a little bit in the uh hue and saturation.
Mm-hmm.
So it still gives me a little bit of these like
Wow.
brighter color and also give me these very interesting like edges that are basically force sharpened, which I personally really enjoy. And
Now you
then with
tend to
that,
also, are you always working in RGB?
depends. I mean, the sometimes these patterns have to go to print.
Mm-hmm.
That gets a little trickier. Then I will redo the whole process in CMYK, like not just simply convert. I would just like rework the artwork
Yeah.
with a new set of colors to make sure all of the color blends nicer because the rules are a little bit different.
Yeah, do you like that challenge, or are you someone who is like, if I could do everything digital, I would prefer to just do everything digital?
No, I really like to create physical things. It's very rewarding and it's very rare, I think, nowadays. So I take that chance very, very seriously. But the difference is the creating work like in like a physical place, you just have to be really consider about the things that you make. I do not want to make junk. I
Yep.
want to make things that people want to keep,
Yep.
people treasure, people care. So I try to put as much of that into the work so hopefully they will do and feel the same.
there's more intention rather than kind of the ephemerality of just being able to be like, if I make something digital, it's not changing anything. Like if you delete that file, it's no big deal. But if you're printing something, then it's something that's in the tangible world. So
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Okay, so I'm gonna do something else. I might do a layer on top to sort of like amp it up a little bit to just give it like a
Oh
slightly
wow, that
different,
pop.
like, softer, but then has like different areas of focus and areas of pop.
So is that's
Because
duplicated the layer below, and but with a soft light on top of it. So
soft light, and I did a bigger blur.
okay.
Like
And
this
then
is running on
was
my
that
phone.
still at full opacity for it? And just
Yeah,
the
it's
blend
at
mode
full
gets it
opacity.
through. Okay.
It's at full opacity, but because this graphic itself is not too what's the word? Mm, full, like
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like elements, like there's just some big blobs. I think like and also soft light is usually the more, you know, neutral solution, because like, if you go like screen or whatever, it's actually quite beautiful on its own too, but it's like that is kind of too much. We're taking out too much of the color out of the graphic, but then this is still maintaining the focus, and actually in some ways like, intensifies the difference,
Yeah.
like the blue is more blue now, which is usually
There's that
my
contrast is nice.
exactly.
To be able to have the full.
Yeah. But now I'm going to show you, since we have a little bit of time left, I'm going to show you the lazy man out of how to create
Oh, I
a.
forgot. Yeah, so this was the long version. What is the short version? How do we
Oh
get
my
to the
God.
short
Okay.
version?
Let me show you. It's so simple. So you create a new, let's say, document that is um, maybe 20 pixels by 20 pixels. And
Oh, a little
then
baby
you
composition.
a baby composition. And what you do here, you do the noise. You say add noise. And then here you take off the monochromatic, and then you turn this all the way to as high as possible.
So
So
funny.
if we
Okay.
zoom in, we actually get this multicolored, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, graphic. And then you just like simply put it here, and then you just have it.
This is so
Uh,
funny to me.
let me just add it, and then just make it really big. So this is where we are, which is
Yeah.
a little crazy. So I am gonna make it even. So, I mean, this is already not too far off from what we
Right.
have. So we're gonna do the same process. We're gonna, um, I will turn this into a smart object just so I can go back to it. Um, I will add the blur, and then I will add the noise.
I don't know if this makes me happy or angry.
What do you mean?
Because I love the other process, and I don't want to like the faster process
They're very
more than
different.
the
I think
yeah.
they are simply different way to see like the situation a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
because I think this one gives all of the color sort of like an equal footing. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
all like color balls basically,
Yeah.
with similar value, whereas the other one are definitely a little bit more uh
Weighted.
organic. They're
Yeah.
more complex. So what I do here usually is to add that layer of organicness to either I just go in with the liquify.
I love liquify.
It's so fun, but like, like I'm just here gonna be like a Godzilla to go sort of like a little bit insane everywhere.
Uh-huh. And just to full destruction, because also when we went in, we also blew it up a lot, so we're actually even looking at only a portion of this kind of
Also,
like
I don't know
cropped
where
in
I
thing.
am. Like that's the main problem.
Yeah.
I just zoomed all the way in. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna let this take the lead, and then okay. Now we have
Wow, see, that's
so like
cool.
you see like that little gesture has changed so drastically
Yeah.
on the result. 'Cause now there's force, there is drama, there's tension, there's
Yeah.
contrast. Love that. So and that all of a sudden becomes a lot more exciting than what we were working with before.
Absolutely.
And last but not least, I will do my little usual trick to bring it up a little and then bring it brighter.
And right as you do that, I have one last question for you. And you don't have
Yeah,
to
of
turn
course.
the camera or anything like that. But realizing you're such a color person, you love hues, you love saturation, you love how colors interact. Your entire background is white. Do you tend to have a pretty monochromatic physical space?
Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, I'm gonna show you the rest of the house. Just for
I didn't
one
mean to
second.
dox you either here.
I
I was
mean,
just
this is
wondering.
like, hold on. This is one of the walls.
There, so
And
you have color splashes. Okay, got it.
yeah. And then let me show you the slightly more beautiful part. Give me one second. So this is my
Oh, I love the frames
um
on the
living room.
Ooh, that blue. That's
Oh,
the blue we were talking about, right?
yeah. And then this is my usual like morning couch.
Oh, I like the hand pillow. That's fun.
Yeah. So like this is my world. It's
Yeah.
very, very powerful. Like I am a simple gal. Like I know what I like, and then that's it.
Yeah, it has that color. It has kind of like different sections of having different pops, but then also still incorporating other colors into a piece, which is nice.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
and your space.
different ways to express yourself, but nevertheless, very, very easy to do and quite
Do you have a favorite
fast.
from today?
Oh, I think this is quite beautiful.
You think your
I
favorite?
truly,
Yeah, that's one that we kind of pulled over from Illustrator. Um,
yeah.
and
Like the
that
black
seamless
and white
workflow
really
too.
works with each other, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
thank
really
you
fun.
so much for walking us through your process,
Of course.
giving us some insight into how things work, and also just yeah, pulling back the curtain a little bit. Uh, could you could you really pull up your Instagram one more time, just so we can
Yeah,
kind of
of
close
course.
that on that real quick, so people can find
Yeah,
you? Is
of
that the
course.
best place for people to follow along online?
Yeah, so the easiest way to find me is at ZZ Design on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And I am sort of think of me as like a um societal comedic commentator using graphics. So
Love that.
whatever that's happening in the life that I think I have a idea, I usually will contribute.
Yep.
Like when we won, like that's truly just so exciting. Like I cannot stop making things. But then I also use this place to experiment a lot. Like there's a lot of different type of aesthetics and things I tend to try. I will
Yep.
put them on here to see how the world responds to it.
Well, I mean,
But also say,
one thing that's like really true that I can really experience is when I went to the poster museum in New York. And there is just such a direct correlation between designers and the way that governments work, the way that people interact with one another, and the way that designers are able to bring things to the forefront and conversations. I think is really important and also really impactful. And I think that you do a really great job at using your talent to also bring up really good conversation. So it's always really
thank you. I
cool
really
when there's
appreciate
doing.
that. As a member of the Poster House, thank you for coming to our little museum.
Oh,
I truly
you're
think
a member
that,
of the post. Yeah, I went
yeah.
for something in December and I saw the fascist
Oh my God,
exhibition.
that
It
show
was
is so great.
so
The
cool.
Italian fascism,
Yep.
fantastic.
Um,
Um, so I'm on the CMYK Council at the Poster House, which is a BIPOC led group that we focus on BIPOC programming for Poster House.
no
So
way. That's
we
so
do a
cool.
lot of Heritage Month, we do a lot of summer block parties, and then we do a lot of First Fridays. So yeah, I just did a tour for the museum in Chinatown to look at all of the signage, all of the graphics, just like a walking
Ooh.
tour. So I do a lot of the stuff with the museum. definitely, keep an eye out. And
Stay involved. Do you have anything
yeah,
exciting coming up that you can kind of push or?
yeah. I am one of the curator slash host of typographics at Cooper Union in New York City this weekend from Friday to Saturday. It actually kicked off already, but the conference is Friday and Saturday. We have the most incredible lineup for, with the best. Actually, I can just uh, show
Nope.
you real quick the amazing speakers that we have that I have the pleasure to invite them. So we have
Are you
Bijan
sharing? Can you share
from,
your screen real quick?
oh my God, sorry. I thought I was sharing my screen the whole
Nope.
time.
You're all good to go.
I am so sorry. Ah!
You're totally good.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So we have Bijan from Fisk based in Portland,
Brilliant.
Christian Varga, like Kelly Anderson, the queen of paper,
Nice.
Talmudian, someone I went to school with. It's just like the diversity and the talent. My friend Abraham, his talk is gonna bring people to tears. And my idol Vasilis, who did all of the Yorgos Lanthimos movie posters,
Oh, whoa. Okay. Cool. Including the lobster, which is nice.
I
That's
I
very
I pulled
iconic.
I'm the one that got him here, so I'm very, very proud to contribute. And then the king of publishing, Richard Tully from Bloomberg, MTV.
Wow. So it's a
Yeah,
packed
Burden.
house.
Oh my God, the talent is unbelievable,
So
and the
you've got a busy weekend
diversity.
ahead of you then.
Yeah, we have
Great.
Kiel Danger, who does
Wow.
all of the interactive, what's it called interactive type work.
Yep.
It's just such a good lineup, and Emily Overman, obviously.
Incredible.
So it
All
is,
right.
I would say not cheap, but it's so worth it. Trust me, the talks are crazy good. Anyways, so that's
Well, thank
happening
you so
this
much. We are
weekend.
at
Yeah.
time. Do really appreciate it. It was a pleasure getting to walk through this and get what you love. If you guys are here live, make sure you stick around. We got office hours coming up right now. But thank you again for joining us, and we'll talk to you real
Of
soon.
course. Okay.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.